Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm your host, Josie Way, and tonight we have two co-hosts. We have Sherry Kachanis and Ken Demers. And I'm very pleased to introduce two guests that you've seen, but they have a lot more to tell you. Dorice is here to talk to you about, Dorice Meau is here to talk to you about the Akashic Records, and Betty Sarmento is it will be here as part of the venue that she has, the spirit venue that she has done some of her work in. Both of them were members of a wonderful singing team that traveled all throughout New England to spiritualist churches, singing their little hearts out and making us look much better when we joined them with our voices. So, you know, my favorite first question is, what got you started with the Akashic Records?
Yep. It was, 2009. And I went to a psychic fair, and there was a wonderful woman, Alex, and she does spirit drawings. So I sat down, and she drew a book. It was white. And she said, I don't know if you know what this is. This is the Akashic Records. And I'm like, no idea. She said, they're telling me that you're going to be able to go into your records. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So I brought the picture home. I put it on, my little stand. Completely forgot about it. The next year, it was around March, and Christina Cross was coming to the Onset Church to teach the Akashic Records. And I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. So I signed up, and so did my husband. So we went and took the class. And I'm not a medium. My husband is, and it was very frustrating when he would do things like, did you see that? No. Did you hear that? No. So when we did the records, I was able to access. I was able to go into the records of other people and get information for them. And so I started doing that. I was told, Christina said, you do it 30 days. You can do it free, practice, and then you can start charging. And the whole time I'm taking the class, I kept getting the message, walk, don't run. And I'm like, sure, whatever. I'll walk, I won't run. I'll do it for 30 days free. So I did it for 30 days free. And then I have a friend, Ellen, and she was going to be my first paying person. And she's from England. So I set up the day. I called her up, and I'll call you back at this number. Called her up at the time, and I get an answering machine. Hey, this is Ellen. Leave a message. I'm like, hey, Ellen, it's Dorice. Why aren't you there? I'll call back in a few minutes. I hung up. I said to Gary, that's weird. She didn't have her accent. It was an American accent. So I called back up again, same thing, same person, same message. So I said, I guess she wasn't there. So I see her 2 days later at church, and she goes, Dorice, where were you? And I'm like, what do you mean, where was I? I called you. She said, no, you didn't. No, I was right there at the phone, and nobody called. And I'm like, okay. And I said, this is the number I called. She said, that's my number. I'm like, I have no idea. Set up another time. I go into my own records. Now I go home, and I'm like, what? And I go into my records, and they tell me, you can't charge yet. You're not ready yet. I was like, really? So a whole year. I went a whole year doing records readings for friends and didn't charge anything. And then somebody said, do you want to do the psychic fair at Bourne? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me find out. So I went back into my records, and they said, now you can charge.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for like 3 years. That's how I got started.
And she's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, she is. I've had a reading.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think we ought to do
Is explain what the Akashic
The
Records are.
Akashic Records is also called the Book of Life. Edgar Casey talked about it. It's a Sanskrit word. Akashic means ether, and basically it's a vibrational recording of everybody's life.
Well, magnetic.
Magnetic recording, and that you can access. Anybody can do it. It doesn't take a special talent. If you want to learn how to do your own records, you can do it.
Not only does it record individual people, but the earth itself
The whole history of everything.
Of everything.
has a cache.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Of the earth.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
it does, it does.
And
So
it's-
it is pretty neat, it's really
I
amazing.
went to some class at some bookstore up in the north side of Boston, and the way they were doing it, it was like they were connecting to the person's spirit and reading it. So to me, it was their version of it was more like mediumship. How do you describe yours?
Not the same.
First of all, I had my teacher Christina, and we have a prayer. We open with the prayer, asking permission to go into this person's records. I never go into someone's records without permission. It's a violation of privacy. And once I go into the records, they ask me questions of their life, past lives, their life, relationship problems, money problems, questions that they have about their life or lives. And I go into the records and they give me the answers. And that's how I
Here's
do
a
it.
question for you.
Yes,
Somebody very significant died 1,000 years ago.
yes,
And we want to go into his
yes.
inventions. How do we do that? Is it
That's a good question, because I asked that myself, because I thought that was a violation of privacy myself.
But
And
they did.
I did ask a teacher. She's a healer, and she asked the question for me. And if somebody has passed, it's a historical record, and you would be able to go in and access those records and ask questions.
Okay, so they, in your university, school system, whatever
Yes.
you want to call it, it's not a problem.
No.
Other modalities of Akashic records, they considered it a problem. So I didn't personally, but I just...
No, I was told it was not a problem. This was from the angels.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the angels.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever done an Akashic record on an angel?
No.
How come?
I didn't see a need to do it. That's a good
Yeah, but-
question.
I mean, if we get somebody like Raphael.
Raphael.
Right?
Right.
Somebody, you said he was more intellectual? I
Well,
believe-
Uriel.
Uriel.
Okay, so if you did Muriel,
I'd
where
have to have his permission, because that's an
Why?
angelic being that is still.
everybody is.
Well, if you
If-
like,
if-
say Michelangelo, the person that was Michelangelo, the physical body,
His soul is still
his
kicking around.
soul is still someplace. You're right. You're right. But what he did on the earth plane in the third dimension as Michelangelo, the person in that body, is no longer there. That spirit has gone on to other things.
Yeah, there's a record of
There's
what
a
he's
record
done.
of what he did
Yeah.
in his incarnation on
But
the
there's
earth.
also a record of what his soul did.
I don't go into what his soul did. I go into what his body did. I don't ask personal questions. I wouldn't ask a personal question. I would ask about how he got his ideas and stuff like that.
I guess my problem is I'm
Mm-hmm.
not seeing the distinction between, if you're doing my Akashic records
Yes.
from other times, that is my soul.
Yes.
If you're doing somebody else's, if you're doing a Michelangelo,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing his soul.
No, you already, you
You're
really
doing-
kind of explained
You're
that
doing
here.
the history.
Yeah.
I'm doing the
The
history of
previous-
Michelangelo.
Because Michelangelo's had many incarnations.
Right. Not
You're,
most
do-
people
you're
do.
not
You're
doing
just
what he's
picking that-
doing now.
That's right. You just
And
picked that
if
one.
I'm doing your Akashic record, and I wouldn't go into your past incarnations without your permission, you would have to ask me. I see what you're saying, though. Michelangelo's not sitting there
Yeah.
asking. I've never had anyone ask me to go into someone else's records, so I don't know if I would or not. I haven't come up against that.
Well, what I'm particularly interested in, going probably back in the Middle Ages sometime, a German prince had offered a vast sum of money to somebody that could come up with a perpetual motion machine.
Oh, okay.
Somebody did.
Okay.
And the prince had scientists going over this thing, fine-tooth comb, for 6 months trying to
Okay.
figure out how it was working. One man could start it, and it would just keep going around in a circle, and it would clunk 3 times every circle.
Okay.
It would take 3 guys to stop it. But it just sat there for 6 months. And he wanted his money, and he got upset that they wouldn't give him his money for his perpetual motion machine.
Oh.
So he dismantled it, and then he died. So nobody knows what it was.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you're thinking that that would be the
He could
perfect
solve the world's energy problems.
energy
Yeah.
problems, yes.
Simple.
That's a good question.
We'll have to check that out.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
And see if they give me the answer. They may not. I have gone into records
Yeah, I can't
and
remember
someone's
the guy's
asked
name.
me a question about, usually if I go into your records
Right.
and you have a question about someone in your family, they really won't let me go into that person's records.
Well, I'm not so concerned about
Yeah.
this life. Maybe a couple of questions on
They
this
may not.
lifetime.
I could
But I've
try.
had hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
lifetimes. Some of them are really neat. Multiple lifetimes of the Christ, worked on the pyramids.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to know. I was
Yes.
a foreman on the pyramids.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to know, okay, what was that all about?
Yeah.
I knew. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
You knew
worked on
how
the
to
Great
lift those
Crystal at
rocks.
Atlantis.
Oh.
So-
You've been around a while.
Yeah, well, a couple 100 million years on this planet.
yeah.
And I was here around before that, so.
So people would go to you for a reading to find out things about their life or
Right.
their past lives
Right.
by you accessing those records.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
I was clear. So if someone had, say, I went to you and I had
Yep.
questions about what's going on in my life now, you
Yes.
could literally go into.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They give me the answers.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's actually, especially past lives, which is really cool. It's a movie. I actually see a movie in my mind. It's amazing. It's really cool. I really get upset though when people ask me about a past life and they send me to this. Oh, I hate the cold, and I've had some people where I like Ice Age. So cold, and I can feel it. I can feel that cold, and I'm like, oh man, it's like, why can't it be Hawaii? No, it's always the Ice Age. I feel it's crazy, but yeah, I've done that. I've had when people say, well, give me a past life. Oh my goodness, seriously,
Yeah.
there's so many past lives.
It's like, give
So
me a
I'll
day
say,
in
is
this
there
lifetime.
anything that bothers you in this life that you don't understand why? Anything you've been afraid of in this life that you don't have an explanation for? Or somebody that you've known and you wonder if you've had a past life with them? These are the things I can access, because just to pull one up randomly, it doesn't do a person
So
really any good.
If somebody has a particular problem in this
Yes.
lifetime, you can help them facilitate
If it's from a
healing
past, yeah.
of that
Sometimes it's
Yes.
from this life they don't remember. I've had people that had something they thought was from a past life, but it was actually when they were children and they didn't recollect.
yeah.
I had one woman, she was deathly afraid of fire. Extremely afraid of fire. She said, I think I was burned at the stake. She said, that's what I feel.
I was.
So I went in thinking, and you got to get
rightfully
you got to
so.
get yourself out of it too. You can't go in saying, okay, burned at the stake, that must be it. So I got myself out of the way and I went in, and she had been in the fire. Do you remember? It's historical. It was the New York Garment District.
Oh.
That
Oh, the
huge fire.
triangular fire.
Right, yeah.
She was in that. She was there, and she died in that, and that was her death. She burned to death.
Wow.
And when I saw that, because I could actually see it happening, and then so I told her, but that was her fear of fire.
Now, did that help you heal that fear?
If they take that and understand that that's why they have nothing more to fear, they can heal it. Yes, if they choose to, That's up to them.
By the way, I love your necklace.
So thank
I know,
you.
isn't that beautiful?
Thank you.
Yes, I do
My daughter,
too.
she gave it to me.
I thought she made it.
No, she gave it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've had people with past life. I had one, she was killed by Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, and she was a wreck in this life. I'm going to tell you. She was an absolute wreck because she had not let go of it. And she was constantly afraid, constantly. I've never seen anyone so afraid in my life.
So that was very
Does
healing.
it
for
bother
her
you?
then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what happened with her was they recommended that she see a hypnotherapist. A hypnotherapist. This was a while ago.
Oh.
And to see a hypnotherapist, and she already knew one.
Yeah.
So that she could go back and heal those memories, because she couldn't just do it, just telling her, because she seriously just came like from there, and never let go of it.
Wow.
Never let go
Was
of it.
this her first lifetime since that
Yeah,
time?
that's what happened.
Okay.
It's like she passed, and then she didn't come back and then she just brought all that fear with her. Yeah.
Now, when you tapping into such strong negative energies,
Mm-hmm.
does it bother you?
No, because I'm seeing a movie.
And
I'm detached.
also
I'm completely
the guides,
detached.
the guides that are bringing it through are nice, a very high level. So
Yeah.
there's a good feeling to
Yeah.
that goes with being able to do a reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
From the
yeah,
guides.
It really is just like watching a movie.
Well-
I am very detached.
Why I say that, I've had a lot of lifetimes.
Okay.
Some of them I was the really good guy with the Christ. Some of them I was the really bad guy. And I've physically had people get sick when they tapped into some of my lifetimes.
Really? Then they didn't detach.
Or they didn't shield.
They didn't
Yeah.
shield.
I don't
when
remember.
I say
She was
the
a
prayer,
dentist. I don't remember her name. but-
yeah, when I say the
Yeah.
prayer, it shields me. It shields me.
Yeah, anytime you do
I've-
spiritual
yeah.
work, you have to shield yourself.
I'll have to tell you though, I have gone in, and
That's right.
if it's something that was like love, someone sending them love, because sometimes their loved ones do come in, even though I'm not a medium, I feel that. That is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, my heart chakra just gets on like, I wish I could make you feel what they're sending me.
expansion?
It's an expansion of love. I have never gone in and had a bad experience, ever, ever, ever.
You are a medium.
Yes,
When
she
you say
is.
that you are not, your
Yeah.
unconscious mind does not hear not. So
Yeah.
you are. So you should
Yeah.
just accept who you are, because if you're feeling that, you
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, she really is. I'm always saying, don't say that. It's
Yeah, I
not
know.
so
That's
you are a
right.
medium.
So you would be clairsentient.
Clairsentient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're receiving gifts all the time, too.
That's true.
You
I
know?
mean, where I am now and where I was 5 years ago,
Oh, my gosh.
I was
yeah.
the one going, I'm never going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Be a medium. No, I don't want to do that stuff.
So you do change, you do grow if you're open to it. You have to be open to it, and you have to want to
Yeah.
learn and grow.
Now, I see on your card, readings may be done by phone.
I do most of them by phone.
Which is better? For
Doesn't
you?
matter.
It,
It doesn't matter. The
that personal
connection.
touch doesn't.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
Space and time does not exist,
It
correct?
doesn't,
Doesn't
right.
matter.
And she has clients.
I gave a
named
very powerful reading to someone over the phone. It was so powerful that she said it took her like an hour for her to ground herself, because she could feel the energy.
Yeah.
She's also powerful anyway.
Where are you from?
East Wareham, Massachusetts.
Oh, right up near the wigwam.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
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 That's where you've seen us.
Well, I know that, but I'm from Lincoln. I mean, so
Oh, I used to be from Lincoln,
which state?
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where?
Right on the border of Providence and Pawtucket, that little town. I think it's Fairlawn.
Oh, yeah. I lived in Fallon for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Where were you?
Where was I? I was in a house.
I mean, what street?
Meader, M-E-A-D-E-R.
I was on the corner of Pond Almond and Hazel.
Okay. I don't think you were there the
Rhode
same
Island
time I
is a
was.
must
small
have been.
state.
It is. You would think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been out of there for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
I wonder if he plays canasta.
Do you play canasta? My family apparently plays canasta while they watch me from the other side.
It's hysterical. They came through one time.
It came through my husband, and my husband's sitting there going, Dorice, I'm getting the word canasta. Just like that, he goes, canasta.
I'm not even sure what that is.
It's a
a card game.
It's an old
Yeah.
card game.
I used to play Michigan a lot.
No,
Yeah,
they
well,
play
that's wrong, but
canasta.
this
My
is-
family
yeah.
plays canasta. Yeah, that's what they're playing on the
It was just so
Gary's
funny.
plays
Whist?
no,
Is it?
the one with the board.
Oh, cribbage.
Cribbage.
cribbage,
That's,
yeah.
that's his family. So
Yeah.
My sweetheart plays bongos.
Oh,
I like bongos.
The drums?
Yes.
I thought it was a card game that I had never heard of.
No, no.
I'm like,
The drums. The drums.
but it was drums. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever taught anybody how to do this?
No,
No.
no.
No, would you-
Apparently,
would
that's
you
going to be
like
the
to?
next thing.
Yeah.
That is your growing edge?
Growing into that, I think.
How specialized is it to do Akashic Records? You don't know.
It's not that specialized at
Oh.
all. I mean, I said a prayer, and when you say the prayer, and then
Well,
You said
you say it's not that specialized.
I don't think
I don't
But
know
not
that many
everybody.
people that do it. I know half a dozen.
I think most people don't understand them or have even heard of it. I had never even heard of it till I took the
Really?
class. I'd
No.
never heard, other than the drawing. And I'm like, oh, that's nice, Akashic Records, whatever that is.
What most people use it for is finding out about their life contracts,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps heal. Let's say somebody did you wrong, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you find out that it was part of your life contract to have this person
Yes.
make you be independent, for instance. So they walked out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, there's a lot
it
of-
was all part of your life
Yes.
contract
That's
for that person to do something like that, to make you independent.
And the Akashic Records is a wonderful resource for that.
It is.
It really
It
is.
is.
It's extremely healing.
Can you use it? Okay, how do we explain this? If we look at it from the soul's point of view,
Okay.
our spirit is.
Right.
I shouldn't do that. The microphone gets
Don't do
upset.
that, it's recording.
Our personality in this lifetime is part of our soul.
Yes.
Because our soul is part of God, there's no past, present, or future. It's
Right.
all simultaneous.
Yes.
So if we want to ask a question about our future,
Yep. You can.
can you do that through the
I
Akashic?
do that, but you also have to know that because it gets so complicated. The future is not a straight path.
Right.
The future has many possibilities.
So when
there are
you-
many dimensions. If you choose
Personal free will.
right,
Yeah.
free will. So if I told you if you do this, this will happen, and then you choose not to do that,
Something
then
else
something
will
else will
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
Every time you make a decision, whatever you decided not to do still happens, but it's in another dimension. It's
Yeah.
another timeline. It's so complicated.
Beth Ann Fisher, she was kind of down near you. She
Okay.
teaches in Rhode Island on occasion at some of
Okay.
the bookstores. She used to do classes where she would have you create an image of 5 different pathways that you were going to do,
Okay.
that were going to happen.
Okay.
And she would have you pick out the best one that was suited for you,
Okay.
and you'd kind of push the other ones away and try to follow that one.
Okay.
So that was an exercise for following your best
Okay.
pathway,
Okay.
which is kind of what you're saying, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, my take on what was just
Yeah.
said is that there is infinite possibilities
Infinite.
and plausibility. So when
Yes.
we focus on one, we actually have only selected one,
Right.
but all the others still
happen.
exist.
They still exist.
Exactly.
It's quantum physics.
It is. It's
Exactly.
all out
And
there.
some of the others may possibly be done by other aspects of ourselves.
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes, because you're in more. You really are at more than one dimension.
Yes.
You're sitting here. Your soul's here, but your soul's other places at the same time.
Oh, simultaneous.
Simultaneously,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Which we can't understand. It's hard to understand because we're linear beings.
Who's that? I can't remember his name. The guy in England that's in the wheelchair with the little speaking computer.
Stephen Hawking.
Maybe we could get him in here to have him explain this.
You have to imagine how much he because all he can do now is think. And I'm going to tell you, we look at him and say, "Oh, the poor man, he's stuck in that wheelchair." His mind is going everywhere.
Oh, it is.
He's
awesome.
he
He's
is
not
seeing
confined
things
to
that
his
we
body.
are
That's right.
not. We don't have the time to do that. He's got nothing but time.
Why don't you call him up and ask him if he wants our Akashic Records?
I
reading?
would love to do that. I really would. He probably could teach me a whole bunch of stuff. I know he travels. He travels. He sees a lot of stuff. He does.
A friend of mine, one time we were talking, he was channeling Joe Pagana, and Einstein came through. So
That
I'm
would be
interested in
interesting.
crystals and stuff. So I asked him, what are you working on now? He said he was working on using crystals for energy, and I thought that was quite interesting.
Ah, like Atlantis.
But to know he's working on it doesn't help us until we
But
can
that information,
tap into that.
that information will eventually be
It'll come
put
to
into
us.
Brought
the
to the
ether.
surface.
Yeah,
It will be put out into the ether, and people will pick
to
up
the collective
on it.
unconsciousness.
To
and
the
it will
collective
come.
unconscious.
It will come to us
It'll come, and there'll be one or two, and sometimes more than that come up with the same idea at the same
At the
time.
same time.
What a coincidence!
Yeah, who was it? Mark Twain. He came up with, before he was super famous, he had come up with a particular book with a particular storyline. At the same time, 2 other authors had come up with
The same thing.
almost identical
Yep.
story themes.
Yep.
Wow.
And I've read of this happening in
Well, look, at the same
multiple
time, we
times.
had Tesla and you had Edison. And they were coming up with the same ideas.
Yes. Tesla
Well,
worked for
not
Edison
quite.
for a while.
Well, on the same plane.
The electrical plane.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Neat stuff.
It is.
Why
It
don't you
is.
tap into Tesla? That would be
that,
really
would be,
neat.
that would be awesome. Oh, we should do that.
Yeah.
You gotta play with this stuff.
The interesting thing that I found was I thought there was like one supervisor of the Akashic Records, and there are numerous people who, spirits from the other side, that give you the information. And I was fascinated to find that out myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, do your mediumistic abilities help you with that?
What my mediumistic abilities helped me with was when I got the reading, it resounded as so true that, you know, I didn't have any questions whatsoever. That all the information that came through was true for me.
The thing is, we all know inside of ourselves. All our knowledge is within. That's what Jesus said.
Yeah.
The kingdom of God is within. That means that you have all the information you need is within you. When you go into the Akashic Records, when I tell people things, I mean, you won't believe, it's like they already knew.
Yeah.
They needed someone to bring it out for them.
To bring it to the surface.
To bring it to the surface. I don't know how many times I'll tell them something and they'll go, I gave a reading to this young lady and she had her 4 friends to the side and I'm giving her the information for her questions and she's like this, she's like stoic. And to the side I hear, see.
Yeah, our friends.
So
know.
I know that
Yeah.
even though she's trying not to let me read her, it didn't matter because I'm not reading her anyway. I'm giving her a reading of her records.
What do you see?
I usually, if it's a question, they give me it verbal, like I hear the words. I hear the words. If it's a question about a past life, I get a movie, and I think that's to protect me.
Okay.
It's an actual movie.
So I can understand this better. I have a question about when I was a baby.
Yes.
Now, I have no conscious memory
Right.
of being a baby.
Right.
Who's communicating that information to you?
Well, it's in your Akashic records, so
Right.
it's your records, and it's you.
I know, but you said
It's
they're
you.
telling me.
Well, you have the guides. When I go into your records, you have your Akashic record guide, you have your guides. I went in one time and this lady, she had 4 guides lined up waiting for me. And they were a rowdy bunch, I'm gonna tell you. I told her I have never seen guides like this in my life. They were rowdy. And then it turned out they were just like her because I'm inscribing what they were saying and she's like, oh my God, it's like me.
Yeah.
So their personalities matched her.
Suited.
Yeah, they suited her.
Now,
I
let's
love that.
divorce for a second here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might want to, the audience, get a hold of her. So if you have a pencil, we're going to do this twice now and maybe a little later if we think of it. We had
Well,
time.
there isn't later.
508-273-2641. 508-273-2641. And she's got a email. I'll let you give that if you
That's
want.
Dorice, DORICE @outlook.com. And I do Akashic Records over the phone. It really
What does a reading cost?
$30 for 30 minutes.
Which
That's
is very
reasonable.
reasonable.
Extremely.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know,
number they
we've
gave
got
me.
this lovely lady here, and
Yes.
you haven't given her a chance to talk yet.
Oh,
What do you?
I get to talk now?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's your turn.
Doris comes to my spirit venue.
I do. For medium
Well, first thing you
training.
got to tell us what a spirit venue is.
The spirit venue is my center, which happens to be in my home in Plymouth, Massachusetts, South Plymouth.
And what do you do there?
We do all kinds of things. I have a mediumship mastery classes twice a month, which Doris and her husband come to, and others.
Yep.
I have, because we were talking about earlier.
I have to cut you off to
I
say
know you
thank
do.
you.
I
No, I want to have her
being
ask
here.
if she had a reading about her center from the Akashic Records.
No, I just knew that was what I had to do.
Well, thank you for being here,
Thank
and
you.
please join us again on Psychic Holistic Spotlight.
I guess we won't give the phone number.